Hello everyone, welcome to the LawCast. My name's Melanie Thorley from MJT and this is Nera Skripic from Plushh Beauty! Plushh Beauty!
I love it. No, don't worry.
So, for those of you who don't know, Nera actually worked for us at MJT for quite some time and you left for bigger and better things a little while ago now. If we've got any listeners or watchers out there, we've been working on something called the gig economy and side hustles, and we've been kind of exploring that. And I thought that actually now would be a really good time to have a chat with you because you started Plushh Beauty as kind of a side hustle while you were doing a full-time job, which would have been quite tricky, and then it's kind of morphed into something different. So looking at this place, so we're on site. We're at Nera's Plushh Beauty,
my house.
Your space, and it's your home as well.
Yes, yeah.
So today I thought we'd talk about a little bit about that transition from it being a side hustle into an actual job, and this whole concept of working from home.
Yeah.
Because we've been talking about this quite a lot, and look, as a business owner and an employer, I've got some views of myself about working from home, and you're doing it, but you're not doing it away from home. This is actually your job at home.
Yes, yeah.
So tell me how it went from what I'm calling a side hustle, which is a terrible thing to say because it was a business, but it was something on the side that you're doing outside of your normal working hours. So tell me how that transitioned.
Well, for starters, I never thought it would actually become a full-time gig. Ever. But I guess when I realised the demand that my uni had with classes and attendance and being available, I didn't think I could commit entirely to law at the time. So I'm studying law.
So Nera's studying law full time.
Not sure if it's a mistake yet or...
So Nera's studying law full time and now you are trying to fit in a full-time job around your study.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know this, not all classes are really easily accessible at night. So you need to be available during the day to be able to take these classes. And so this has morphed into so it became more difficult to hold down that permanent full-time job.
Yeah, I think it was more so I didn't feel comfortable trying to fit in uni and also commit to an employer at the same time because a lot of the time they did want to work with me, the other firm that I was at, not lovely Melanie, the other firm I was at, they did try to work with me, but I would need to be out for between 4 and 6 hours a day, which is just too much and unfair.
As a business, it's really hard to accommodate that sort of space in the day because quite often you're actually needed. The reason why you're there is because there's a job for you to be had.
Yeah, and that's actually when I realised that I was just going to have to, something was going to have to give and it wasn't going to be my uni. And I was working on this side hustle. I do agree with the name actually, I like it. Side hustle.
You like the side hustle?
I do. I think, but I mean, it was a side hustle. It wasn't my primary source of income. But I just thought, well, I've been working on this for a year and a half at the time. I had a good client base and I was just going to cut the cord and jump into self-employment, which is terrifying. Very scary.
Doing your own best.
Yeah, and just being responsible for getting work and clients and pipeline.
Yes, doing the whole business thing. So now you're here and you're working from home.
Yes.
So you're studying at home and you're working from home. Do you ever leave the house?
I do have one class I have to go to.
So yes.
So once
a
week.
while.
No, I do try and get out during the week, but it's not really that straightforward.
So for those of you who are thinking about starting your own business, it is all encompassing. If you think, oh look, I'm going to be out of the house, I'm going to be out of the office more, so that's really great. That's actually not true.
No.
You are inside your house as much as you would have been at the office.
Yeah.
You do have actually a far better view.
I do actually have some grass I can see.
Yeah, there's grass and there's people and humans and the world's out there and trees.
Yeah.
It's actually a much nicer view, but in fact you're in here and now.
Yeah. And not just that, but a lot of people don't realise with owning your own business, you're actually working just every day. There's no 9 to 5.
Yeah.
It's when you wake up, you're thinking about it. You're planning for it. You're working on it on Sundays, on Saturdays, all the time. So
yeah, your mind does shift to that fee earning space.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about, you know, running this business and you know, getting it more expansion and so on and so forth, was it always run out of your house, or did you? So how does this work? So you wake up one day and you go, oh, I'm going to do beauty work, lashes and eyebrows. I think and that has to be done somewhere, right? So it's not an easy space to get into because you've got stuff you have to purchase. Yeah. There's this amazing light here, which you know, I'm going to see if I can play around. Can I turn on?
Yeah. Turn to.
Ah. Look at that. Very nice. Okay.
Very bright.
Very bright. Very nice. And I'm guessing that gets closer to the person as per you need.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I'm sitting on a really amazing, what I assume to be some type of fancy bed.
It's actually a massage bed. And all I've done to make it plush and comfortable is put a mattress topper on it.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant idea. Well, I have to say, I would definitely feel comfortable being in here.
Thank you.
I think, based on your client base, your clients will
they do really like it. They say it's calming, so I'll take that.
So how long has it taken to get from here to there, or there to here today?
Definitely a minimum of 18 months.
Right.
Yeah, and that was long nights.
What?
Paid advertising from the start.
Oh dear.
Even though I was kind of putting myself in the red with that.
Oh my goodness.
Got to work on that.
Cash flow.
Yeah, I don't think I would have considered myself good at it for 9 months of that process. And
do you mean good at the business side of things or good at the lashes thing?
The actual work, because it's a funny industry. It's not regulated there's no real regulations for this part of the beauty industry. But yeah, it's kind of, the training's really short and you don't actually have to spend much time on the tools learning. It's like really quick courses, like 2-3 days.
So you kind of learn and earn at the same time.
You do. So
that's really frightening.
It is, and you have to, at the start I was charging like $50 a person just so I called it practice at the time as well. So the person was just really paying for the product and I maybe got $10 out of it or something just to continue practicing. And it was like that for the first 6 months, and then I thought I was of a high enough standard to bump up my prices a bit. So I think a lot of the time as well, these places sell this dream that these industries you can just make $1,000 a day like that.
Well, they do sell that. I've seen the TV adverts.
Yeah, and it's not like that. It takes a long time to get to that.
Okay, so we've had this long progression and you're here and you're very comfortable in this space, but is there any thoughts of expansion?
Yes, I'm actually planning in January to get a commercial space.
Plushh Beauty, watch out everyone. I like it.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get like a space with 2 or 3 rooms. Would also like to hire someone. And
we'll
see.
Why don't we do an advertisement now? You know, have you seen it? I haven't even planned. Just changing the subject slightly. I was amazed. I was watching TV and there was an advertisement that came on and there was a QR code that came up on the TV, and I'm thinking, that amazes me because what it's telling me is that everybody is on their mobile phones or their tablets while they're watching television to be able to go, oh, I'll take a photo of that, and automatically they're getting more information. So the advertisement's going further than what you would anticipate it to be.
Really
back into your mobile devices, and that kind of really interested me. There was and for those of you who do listen to ordinary radio anymore, please continue listening and watching to the LawCast. Quite a few radio stations, their advertisements are actually advertisements for jobs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think that's a really interesting way of doing it. You know, they're not going out on to seek. They're going to a local radio station. They're putting an advertisement up there about if this is the sort of thing that you want to do. And we've seen them. Bunnings has done it. There's a lot of companies that are finding their new staff through social media. And through online media. And I think that's a fascinating way to expand how one kind of gets out there and gets that right person. So I'm gonna take those of you keep an eye out for Plushh Beauty
Yes,
Nera Skripic, and when she's out there looking for someone new,
it'll be on Instagram because that's where advertising is.
Instagram, that's it. Or write into us, and we can certainly put you in the right direction. Honestly, I think it's an amazing space to be able to get out there and find staff instead of going to Seek.
Yeah, it is. It's obviously not the same cost of Seek as well for a lot of businesses.
And you're capturing exactly the person you're looking for, which is really interesting as well.
Because they come to your page for those things, and you know, a lot of the time, a lot of my clients that come to me as well, they have an interest in doing it too.
Yes.
And I always encourage them. There's plenty of people to go around, so you know.
Don't do that with lawyers, everyone. There's no employment lawyer but for me.
Nah, definitely not. Definitely not for lawyers, but for beauty, plenty.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, a lot of them want to try it, and I always encourage them. Yeah, give it a go. It's tough, but fun, something creative.
Why not?
That's the whole reason I started it.
Start off as a side hustle.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, tip your toe in the water, do the course, see how you feel, and if you don't like it, move on.
Yeah.
There's very little risk these days.
Yeah, there is. And the cost is not that great.
It's not that
prohibitive. Yeah, maybe $5,000 you can start.
Wow.
So
not unlike a law firm, which costs you $1 million to start up.
Your left arm.
I've sold a kidney for my business.
Definitely.
So look, the other thing that I was really fascinated with is this working from home concept. I was reading in an ABC kind of a magazine article that there was a study done in America. I don't know how this works, everyone, but a study done in America where 6% of Australians before COVID wouldn't consider working, you know, would only be working from home or consider working from home. And now that's risen to 30%. And they gave some more information about this, and they said that there are individuals out there who would say that they would either quit the job or look for a new one if they were told they needed to go back to the office. And I find that really fascinating, because from an employer's perspective, from my work perspective, I need to be at work with my team, collaborating, getting things done. When we are separated, it is so much harder to get a team that's working together in unison. And I also wonder whether these people who would quit their jobs because they want to work from home more, they would consider taking a pay cut to work from home with their current employer, because they're no longer going into work, they're no longer having to buy the suits, they're no longer having to go out and get coffees or get their lunches. I just think that there is a incidental bump to their salary by virtue of staying at home. Not to mention there's a tax benefit. If you own your home, you can use that space and actually get a tax benefit from it. But how do you feel? Because you work from home 100%.
Yeah. Look.
I don't think. How controversial does she want to be on the podcast,
I'm just thinking of how many people that I know.
That's right, who are doing this.
I actually think it's not as glamorous as everyone thinks it is working from home. Personally, I always preferred going somewhere, which is why I want to find a space, because I want to get out of my house, because like you said earlier, I'm just here all day every day.
That's right. But it's right there, you can climb out the window.
Yeah, exactly. See ya. No, but I back on what you were saying about the pay cut, I don't disagree with that, because everyone I know that works from home takes a nap during the day, goes to beauty appointments, and I know that there are workplaces that are more flexible with that, because it's like if you finish everything, as long as the tasks are done, you know, so be it. But I'm sure they still wouldn't appreciate beauty appointments and naps during the day, or people take their work and they go and work at the beach or something. And I just feel like I don't know about that. I don't know if I agree. Too much of
a melding. In this article, it did say that one of these ladies who was in the article, they had several people, and one of them was a female, sort of middle-aged type woman, and she said, oh my God, it's so much better. I can look after my kids and get my washing done. And I'm like, oh, hang on here.
But you're working.
But aren't you meant to be working? And I just wonder how much focus, and she also said in this article that she was able to get more work done and she was more productive. And I just wonder by whose standard?
Yeah. actually by the employer standard or by her.
And if she is more productive working at home, doing the work she's doing for less time she's doing it, how much more productivity can that employer get out of that employee if they work a full day?
Yeah.
As opposed to doing the washing, looking after the kids, having a nap.
And that's what people do. But and
what about the isolation? Because you're here all the time on your own.
It's very isolating, and I didn't truly understand it because my partner has worked from home basically his entire adult life, and I never understood when I would come home from the office and I would just want to stay at home, lounge on the couch, and he's like, let's get out of the house. And I wanted to stay home. He needed to get out for his mental health, and it was polar opposites. So I never really understood that until I worked at home, and now sometimes we'll go for a stroll at Kangaroo Point at 10 p.m. just to leave our house.
Yeah, and look at a different view.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, that makes a lot of sense. I also wonder that when we're at work all day, and when we're at work all day and we're doing something, we're often jib jab. You know, we're jib jabbing to our clients, we're jib jabbing to people on the phone, we're jib jabbing. You know, we're just jib jabbing all day. And when you work alone at home, there is no jibber jab. Yeah.
And I am lucky because I jibber jab to everyone.
And I wonder if you're out there doing, and yes, it helps for you, but your partner, he doesn't jibber jab all day. So maybe he wants to talk to you when you just want to rest. Yeah. And there's this kind of disjunct, isn't there, between what the needs are. So there's I think there is gonna be slightly more conflict. I'm fascinated by how these individuals who want to work from home, and I'm not necessarily against the idea, but you know, all this concept of taking naps, I'm so much more productive at home. Why? What actually, and really are you? Or
I think it's for them, it's 9 a.m, I'm going to smash all my work out by 11, and then I'm going to do whatever I want for the rest of the day, which, okay, but then only work from 9 until 11. Talk to your employer, say I get everything done in 3 hours. I'm sorry, but it's not fair. Like, people my generation...
I'm going to be a part-timer now.
Yeah, people my generation will probably call me boring.
I'll do that side hustle now, thank you.
But, yeah, and it's just... I don't think that it's fair for someone to be paying you for a certain hours and you're not working
when you're
those
not
hours.
Focusing on that
you're
day.
not. I don't know, yes, you're taking your list and checking off all the boxes, but... I think that's very different to actually working
presenteeism.
Yeah,
it's a real problem.
And the statistic you were saying before of how many people would leave their job.
Yeah,
everyone I know that works from home has said they would do that, and they said that
if I had
to. Well, I don't know because. I mean, I don't know. I wonder if it's because it's an employee's market at the moment, apparently. So I've even had recruiters approach me and say, "What do you want? The firm will give you whatever you want." Work from home every single day. They don't care.
Wow.
And it's just, I wonder if everyone's become a little bit entitled to the work from home thing post-COVID.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a massive shift as well eventually, back to the workplace, because actually at the end of the day you need to be able to work with the team that you're with. And if you're not there and you're not experiencing it, you can't do that. And everyone will become isolated and it becomes a bigger emotional problem, perhaps.
I found it really frustrating personally, working from home or having my colleagues work from home when I was in a bigger office, because half the time I couldn't get a hold of anyone. If I was working from home, I couldn't get a hold of anyone else, and vice versa. So if I was in the office and they were at home, and I think it's because...
Is it because they were taking naps?
They're doing other things. Taking naps and going to the beach and, taking their dog out on adventures, but and then sorry, I didn't hear the phone. Oh, whoops, I didn't hear my computer.
Yeah,
we all know what's going on.
I know. It's the conversation with the video off.
Yeah. Oh, my camera's not working.
Yeah, it's not working today.
Oh no, there's no noise. You can't hear anything. Don't worry. I just think I actually really always enjoyed going into the office. I never disliked it, but having a good office helps with that. Obviously, if you work in a bit more toxic environments, it might be harder, but that's a whole different
It's a whole story.
kettle of fish.
That's a whole different podcast,
Yeah,
everyone.
that's a whole different thing. I'm sure you've already touched on that.
Well, we talk about all sorts of things. So what the moral of the story is, for you in particular, the side hustle turned into a job, which gave you the flexibility to be able to continue your university course. And so I guess there is a question out there that what happens when you finish uni?
Yeah,
you know,
that's a tough one.
Yeah, you're talking about, you know, you have this beautiful name. You've got, you know, Plushh Beauty. You're looking at expanding. You're looking at moving into premises, and you're also you're looking at finishing a degree shortly.
Yeah,
there's some big choices to be made.
Very big. I think I've kind of thought about it, and I don't necessarily know if I'd go straight back into law purely just because there is bonuses of having your own business.
Yes.
Obviously, I can take holidays when I want.
Except you can't because you won't get paid.
True.
Not only do you spend money on a holiday, but you don't get paid.
Don't forget that. You do not get any money when you're not working. You're not working, $0. No sick leave unless you get to that stage where you're paying yourself like that. That's fine. But the reality of it is.
So perhaps the moral of the story for you is to look at a business model that enables you to get a bit of a wiggle on and get those employees, so they can be providing that service.
Yeah.
So you have so it becomes your side hustle again.
That's it. I was thinking I would love to have something running in the background. Only thing is, I don't know how that works in reality.
How does that work in reality, people? Is anybody out there doing it? I'd be fascinated to find out, any of our LawCast watchers and listeners have had a side hustle, turned it into their business, left it to do something else, but have turned it back into a side hustle again, and how they've made that work.
Or even having, I don't want to say basically no involvement, but no hands-on. Like for example, going back to working in a law firm, anyone that's a lawyer would understand that responsibility, and trying to then manage a business in the background, I don't know how that would work in reality. Would I have a manager that I trust enough to run the days?
Oh, trust people.
Another one. I don't know. It's a really complicated
I think you'll find that restaurateurs out there and anybody who owns a bar says essentially, and please don't take offence if you are in this situation, that your staff will all steal from you.
Yeah.
Because it's basically a thing that happens. And I've had phone calls from restaurateurs who say, well, of course I've got staff that are stealing, but this one steals more than the rest. And that's what they're putting their foot down on. So I guess what you've got to...
battles, right?
Yeah, you certainly pick your battles. And if it's an industry that does that, then you need to kind of manage that a bit better.
Yeah.
But I guess what you've got to do is find some people that work with you, that you trust, who can run it when you're not there.
Yeah, and then also, am I giving enough to my employer as a lawyer, having this business in the back of my mind constantly, how it's going, is everyone doing their job, has everyone turned up on time, you know, reputation, am I doing justice to my future employer by even having that? So who knows, it's too much to think about right now.
Too much to think about.
Future Nera problem.
Future Nera. Well, look, at the moment, present Nera is doing perfectly well. You've got a thriving business. It started as a side hustle. You've got a beautiful space here, and you've actually got some excellent windows. Not that anyone can see them, but
they're the long ones.
I do like this light, and this whole bed setup is very comfortable. And you've got clients, and they're coming over and over and over again. So you're running a successful business that used to be a side hustle.
Yeah, which I'm
crazy
amazed. I never expected it to get here.
That's brilliant.
I mean, I worked hard, so
of course,
hard work pays.
For those of you who don't understand small business, it's not luck; it's hard work.
Yes. There's no luck about it.
There's no luck in this.
Yeah.
I mean, we feel lucky, but in fact, it's all our hard work.
Luck and sleepless nights.
Yes, indeed. And, you know, the future come what may.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Very interested to see what happens with all the work from home, though.
Yes. Yes. We're going to keep an eye on that, because we've got a global wave that's coming. I won't say the words, but certainly there's a wave I believe is coming. And these people who all of a sudden feel they've got lots of choices may find they don't have the same choices in 6 months' time. As
reality will hit.
Perhaps.
I think.
Perhaps. But thank you very much
No
for having
worries.
us
Thanks
here
for having
at
me.
the LawCast at your beautiful place.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go outside now and pat the very, very large Rottweiler, who's a giant buffhead.
He is, yes. All my clients know that.
He's a giant buffhead, but he's very, very cute.
Yeah.
And thank you everyone for watching and listening to the LawCast this week. And thank you very much, Nera, for having us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, everyone.
No problem. See you later, everyone.